So apparently, y'all didn't want to see my hoo-ha. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, keep on watching this video. Hey Stitchers, your girl Kris here. Welcome back to my channel on social, where it's totally cool to be obsessed with sewing. So I know I have been missing for a while, but I did not have any Joe. There's been lots going on behind the scenes, and truth be told, I just didn't have the motivation to come on camera and talk to you guys even about sewing, which I usually love so much. But things are sort of getting better, and so I'm feeling a little bit more energetic, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you today a pattern review of the Delphina dress by the Petite Dressmaker. Now, you guys already know that I am doing the Make 9 challenge for 2024. In case you missed that video and you have no clue what I'm talking about, I'll be sure to go ahead and drop the link in right here so that you can go ahead and get all caught up. Now, instead of choosing specific makes that I wanted to tackle for 2024, I did decide to choose categories instead. And of course, I had to have a square for the dress category. Now, as part of the challenge, I did introduce a little remix just special to me, and it was to challenge myself to use indie patterns for 2024. Now, I'm very au fait with the big 5 pattern block, and I wanted to sort of challenge myself this year and to use more indie patterns and get a little bit more variety in my closet. I came across the Petite Dressmaker, I think it might have been last year or the year before, and I have been following her pattern making journey since then. She has some stunning patterns, but most of them are a little snug around the tummy area, and I do have too much belly fat, in my opinion, to rock out those dresses. So when I saw her introduce this relaxed fit Delphina dress, I was right on board and snatched up the pattern almost immediately. I finally have gotten around to making it, and I'm going to share my thoughts with you all about the pattern. Now, I went ahead and grabbed from my iPad because I wanted to make sure that the information I'm sharing with you is as accurate as possible. And you guys, I cannot depend on my brain to recollect all of this information. So the Delphina dress comes as part of a bundle along with the Lavinia dress and the Mirabelle pattern. But I went ahead and purchased just the Delphina dress because the Petite Dressmaker's block was new to me, and I wanted to test it out and see how well it conformed to my body. Now, the Delphina dress comes in a size A to L, which ranges from an upper bust measurement of 28.7 all the way up to an L, which covers an upper bust measurement of 48 inches. The reason I'm sharing with you the upper bust measurement is because this particular pattern is drafted for 2 cup sizes. There is an AB option and there is a CD option. So for those of us who are in the CD category and usually need to go ahead and perform full bust adjustments, we can skip it for this dress. Yes! So I went ahead and made up the dress, which has this sort of ruffle inserted between the bodice and the skirt. And I did use some Ankara fabric that I got from a Freak clothing store. Now, when I saw the line drawings for this pattern, I had already decided that I wanted to do some print mixing. I wanted the main dress to be in one print, and I wanted to go ahead and insert just another cool, fun print in between the skirt and the bodice. Now, it turns out that I went a step further and introduced a ruffle tier to my skirt, but I'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. Now, the Petite Dressmaker describes this pattern as a cute and frilly summer baby doll dress, perfect for a picnic or a day at the beach. Now, for me, because of where I live, it's hot almost all year round, and I'm pretty sure I can get away with rocking this dress for most of the year. Now, I did make a couple of changes to this pattern, including doing a 1/2 inch sloping shoulder adjustment because poor posture, you guys, means that my shoulders are usually very sloped in comparison to the pattern. And what else did I do? I did the sloping shoulder adjustment. Oh, I went ahead and removed a 1/4 inch from the upper portion of my bodice between the shoulder and the bust line. And I also went ahead and lowered my bust dart, I think, by a full inch. Now, this pattern comes also in 2 height options. There is a petite block and there is a standard block. Now, even though your girl is kind of tall, I am 5 foot 8.5 inches, in case you did not know, but I carry a lot of my length in my legs, And that means that I'm typically having to adjust the bodice portions of my pattern to shorten them substantially. Luckily, because I went ahead and used the petite bodice block, I did not have to make any length adjustments other than the 1/4 inch that I told you I removed between the shoulder line and the bust line. Now, because this pattern block was completely unfamiliar to me, I did go ahead and do a toile of just the bodice portion of this pattern, and I'm going to share it with you right now. All right, so this is toile number 1 of the Delphina bodice, and this is what she's looking like. It does look a little bit short just because a piece of my fabric was too short and I didn't notice it before I cut out my back bodice pieces. Thankfully, I don't think that will affect the fit too much, and I can make an assessment based on what I have. So before I cut out my toile, I did go ahead and do a 1/2 inch sloping shoulder adjustment. Just by looking at the pattern pieces, I knew that the shoulder line was just way too straight for my body. And so I went and did that as a preliminary adjustment even before sewing up my toile. I also went ahead and lowered the bust dart. I held up the front of the pattern piece to my body and tried to sort of mark out where I think my bust dart should fall. And in response, I ended up lowering the bust dart by 1.5 inches. And this is where my bust dart now falls. Now, I think that I lowered it just a little bit too much. I probably should have lowered it about 1 inch or so. And so I think I'm going to end up raising my bust dart just a little bit. Now, I'm a little concerned with how short it is at my center front. Now, this is the bodice for the CD cup, and so I know that the petite dressmaker has already done a full bust adjustment on it, and I think it fits across my bust okay. It's not squeezing, and I don't think I have pancake boobs, and so I'm not going to meddle with the full bust adjustment on this at all. It already has a full bust adjustment incorporated. I am a C cup, and so I think that that is okay. It is meant to be a baby doll style top. And I think I said that I cut out the petite version of the bodice of this dress. Even though I'm not a petite person, holistically, I am petite from my waistline go up. And I constantly have to shorten the waistlines of patterns. And I also have to shorten the length of my patterns between the shoulder and the bust quite often. So I went ahead and started with the petite bodice. Now, when I turn to the side and I feel where my natural waistline is, it does fall right about here. And I think that this is the correct length at my side seam. And so I want to go ahead and assume that this is where the front of my dress is meant to hit. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to go ahead and sew up the dress based on this toile, plus raising the bust dart by additional 1/2 inch. So what I mean basically is that I'll go back to my paper pattern, raise my bust dart a 1/2 inch because I think I lowered it just a tad too much. And then I'll proceed to my final fabric. And fingers crossed, I will be pleased with where my center front waistline falls once I go ahead and attach the skirt. Now, once I attach the skirt, it will add just a little bit of weight to my center front piece. And I'm hoping that I'll be happy with where this falls. If not, then perhaps I'll make another iteration and lower just the front portion a bit. I don't want to go ahead and lower the entire waistline just because on my assessment, I think my side seam falls where it needs to fall. So I'm pretty happy with the fit of this with the couple of adjustments that I did. And so I'm going to move ahead and cut out my Ankara fabric. All right, you guys, so that was the toile of the bodice portion of the Delphina dress, and I was pretty happy with how it was looking, and I was eager to cut into my actual fabric, which is this one right here. Now, I did share with you earlier on that I had to hack this pattern. It was not intended when I started making up this dress. I actually intended to make it as it is drafted, but fate would have it that I ended up having to include just a small hack to this dress. Now, when I was cutting out the skirt portion of this dress, it turned out that I did not have enough of my Ankara fabric. Now, that is my fault because I completely ignored the fabric recommendations for this dress, and I only had 3 yards of a 44-inch fabric because Ankara fabrics typically come in a 44-inch width. That meant that I had to cut my skirt portion on the cross grain. And it also meant that my skirt ended up about 4 or 5 inches shorter than it was drafted. So to cure that defect, I went ahead and introduced this ruffle onto the skirt in this Ankara fabric that matches the ruffle that I inserted between the bodice and the skirt. Now, I was tempted to leave my dress as is, just hem it up and have a really cute and short summer dress, but you guys did not want to see my hoo-ha, and I put a vote out there over on Instagram, and it was almost unanimous that I should go ahead and introduce the ruffle, and that is exactly what I did. So you guys, my ruffle is ruffling, and I am really, really happy with how the dress has turned out. Now, I almost had a crisis. When I cut out the bodice portion of my top, I went ahead and cut it on the fold line. Now, it is required that you cut 2 of the front bodice and 2 of the back bodice, but I thought, hey, it would be easier just to butt my pattern piece up to the fold line and then go ahead and run my scissors through it after the fact. But you guys, that was a huge, huge mistake, and I ended up with a bullseye on one boob. I just could not unsee it. And luckily enough, I had just enough fabric to go ahead and cut out one side of my bodice and was able to fix that situation across my boobs. Now it means that my center front is not pattern matched, but listen, you guys, I will take this result over that bullseye. So I'll be sure to go ahead and pop in some footage so you can see just how it turned out, and see, it was cringe to me. Now, the only downside I think to this dress is that it does not include pockets. Now, I was playing with the idea of introducing pockets myself because it's a really simple hack. But because this skirt is sort of cut with a triangular shape so that you can get this high center front, I wasn't sure just how far down the side seam I would have to put my pockets. And I just didn't feel like messing about with it before I sewed it up. So I went ahead and omitted pockets in this make just because I didn't know where I was going to fit them in. Now, I think that this dress pattern would be suitable if you are like an advanced beginner or so, just because it has no closures, you guys. No zips, no buttons, nothing. It just pulls on straight over your head. Yes, you'll have to take just a little bit of time with the gathering portion, but I don't think that it is too difficult, and the pattern instructions were perfect. I'm telling you, she really put a lot of emphasis on creating instructions that were easy to read and easy to understand. And I think that with that level of hand holding, an advanced beginner could tackle this pattern, no issues at all. Now, it is also a loose flowing dress, again, because it has to go on over the head. And typically, your girl sort of shies away from that type of silhouette. But I think it turned out pretty cute. And I'm sure that she's going to get lots of wear in my wardrobe. And that is because I went ahead and introduced the ruffle. Now, without it, no doubt about it, I would have rocked this dress anyway. But when I started making it up, I did intend for it to be able to go to the office with me. And in that current state, you know, without the ruffle, I don't think my boss would have been very pleased with me if I showed up to work with so much leg on show. So I'm happy that you guys recommended to me that I should include the ruffle. And overall, I am pretty pleased with how this dress turned out. I should stop and tell you that I shared this dress as part of my March make roundup, and that is because I sewed the majority of this dress up in March. The only thing that was left for me to do was to decide on whether to introduce the ruffle or not. But then, of course, as I said, I sort of stopped sewing. I got absolutely nothing done, and then I had to travel at last minute, and I was gone for longer than I would have wanted to be away, but it was required. And so I'm back now, and as soon as I got back, I was bursting with this creative energy that had left me hanging throughout the month of March and for most of April, and I was eager to get back into sewing. But before I started working on any new projects, I know I had to go ahead and finish up this make, and so I spent the entire day today, that's the day that I'm filming this video, finishing up the ruffle and the hem of this dress. So overall, again, I really am pleased with this dress, and that means another Make 9 project has been completed. Check! Now, I think that's all I wanted to tell you about this pattern, and I'm hoping that this review will help some of you guys to go ahead and at least explore the possibilities of the petite dressmaker. As I said, she's an up-and-coming pattern designer, and she is from Australia. And so if you have not heard of her yet, I will leave the link down below in the description box so you can go ahead over to her website and check out her beautiful, beautiful patterns. Now that is all I wanted to share with you guys today. Be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and drop me a comment down below and let me know, what do you think of this print mixing? Do you think it is a hit, or do you think your girl missed the train by mixing these two patterns? Now, if you have made it this far into my video and you are not yet a subscriber, then what are you doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and be sure to turn your notification bell on so you never miss any of my upcoming videos. As I said, I did take a little hiatus, but your girl is back with a bang and ready to come with lots of content for you guys to enjoy. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.